hurt and I miss my baby. I miss my baby.
In this video, we'll discuss the story that occurred on June 28, 2017 in the U.S. state of Pennsylvania. It started like any ordinary emergency call. 911 lit up with reports of a car accident on a Pennsylvania highway. But what police found at the scene was anything but ordinary. A Chevy Malibu had swerved off the road, and behind the wheel was 18-year-old Bianca Roberson, tragically pronounced dead on the spot. At first, it looked like a terrible accident, but as investigators dug deeper, it became clear this wasn't an accident, it was murder. Bianca Nicole Roberson, born October 17, 1998, was a standout student and a vibrant soul. A recent graduate of Bayard Rustin High School in Westchester, she earned straight A's, made the honor roll, and was active in the Black Student Union. She had just received a 4-year merit scholarship to Jacksonville University in Florida, where she planned to study criminal justice and fulfill her dream of becoming an FBI forensic agent. Bianca was more than just an academic star. She played basketball, cheered, and was a former Girl Scout. She was musically gifted, taking lessons in flute, violin, clarinet, and guitar, and she had a creative flair for art. She lived with her mother and grandmother and was excited about starting college and experiencing dorm life. On June 28, 2017, just weeks before her big move to Florida, Bianca was shopping with her mom and grandma at Walmart. After they finished, each left in their own vehicle, planning to meet back home. Bianca had a short 10-mile drive, but within minutes, 911 calls started pouring in. A car had gone off the road. Paramedics rushed to the scene but could do nothing. Bianca was already gone. At first, the cause of death seemed clear, a tragic crash, but eyewitnesses told police they'd seen a red pickup truck collide with Bianca's car and speed away without stopping. That changed everything. Her grandmother, driving past the wreck on her way home, said she felt a pang of dread. I hope that's not Bianca. But it was. For Bianca's mother, Michelle, a nurse in Delaware County, the grief was overwhelming. She had already lost her son, Michael, to a heart condition in 2013. Now I'm the mom of no children, she said through tears. They were my breath, my reason to get up. Bianca's father, Rodney, said, if I had a favorite, it was Bianca. She had this way of bringing people together even after our divorce. Bianca had been laser-focused on her goals. Of the 4 colleges she applied to, she was accepted into 3, Jacksonville University, Coastal Carolina, and the University of Georgia, and she chose Jacksonville because it brought her closer to her FBI dream. Then came the bombshell. The autopsy report revealed that Bianca hadn't died from the crash at all. A bullet was found lodged in her head. Her death wasn't just a hit and run, it was a shooting, a murder. The red pickup wasn't part of a collision, it was part of a crime. Surveillance footage from Walmart didn't offer much help, but detectives were now looking for a killer, not just a reckless driver. And the question on everyone's mind, why? Who would want to harm someone like Bianca? She had no enemies, no drama, just ambition, kindness, and a future ahead of her. Her family still struggles with the unanswered questions, and the world lost a brilliant, compassionate young woman who deserves so much more. They analyzed their every move from when Bianca and her family exited their cars to when they left the parking lot. The detectives ruled out the version that someone who was at Walmart could have chased Bianca and then fired a fatal shot at her. After all, while at Walmart she did not quarrel with anyone, they just bought everything they needed, loaded everything into Bianca's car, and left. What happened to Bianca Roberson may have begun long before her car veered off the road. It might have started just moments earlier as she drove down the highway heading home, unaware that her final moments were unfolding. We packed all her bags into the Chevy, her mother Michelle recalled, a 2009 Chevy Malibu, lovingly bought for Bianca on her 16th birthday from CarMax. She didn't ask for much, Michelle said, but when she did, it was always something big, like a car. Bianca had her eyes on that car ever since she got her permit. She got everything she wanted, her mom added. I wouldn't call her spoiled. I'd say she was loved. But Bianca never expected things to be handed to her. At 15, she got her first job at McDonald's. Just 2 weeks in, she traded fast food for a job as a dietary aide at Whitehorse Village, a retirement community in Delaware County. "I still have a stack of letters and cards from residents who adored her," her mother said, holding back tears. When investigators finally obtained traffic surveillance footage, they hit a frustrating discovery. There were no cameras at the precise location where Bianca's car went off the road. But about a mile away, a camera caught something crucial: the red pickup truck. The footage seemed to confirm what a witness had already told police, that there had been some sort of confrontation between Bianca and the driver of that truck just moments before the tragedy. The footage showed their cars driving side by side. Here, they were approaching the place where the two lanes merge into one. The confrontation may have started with something as trivial as refusing to yield, a common road conflict with uncommon tragic consequences. Given what followed, investigators quickly suspected that the driver of the red pickup truck may have been the one who pulled the trigger. But the footage they had was a disappointment, grainy, unfocused, and virtually useless. The license plate was unreadable. The driver's face? A blur. Still, from that moment on, the man behind the wheel of that truck became the central and only suspect in Bianca Roberson's murder. Detectives were desperate to identify him, but all they had was a shadowy silhouette of a red truck. Bianca's family didn't know anyone who drove a vehicle like that. The police went back to speak with everyone who had called 911 or witnessed the crash, but no one had caught a plate number. Meanwhile, a wave of support washed over the Roberson family, from friends, teachers, total strangers. At a vigil held just 2 days after Bianca's death, one teacher told Michelle, "Bianca changed the way I teach." Another described her as the kind of child who would sneak a homeless friend into her house if their parents kicked them out. When Michelle would confront her, Bianca would reply, "Mom, wouldn't you want someone to do the same for me?" She once saw a car accident and begged her mom to stop and help. If she saw someone sitting alone at a restaurant, she'd invite them to join her table. Bianca didn't just see people, she saw them. Determined to track the red pickup, detectives expanded their search radius. Reviewing footage from cameras positioned farther away from the scene, they finally pinpointed the truck's route. It had turned onto Polly Pike. Officers went door to door through the area, visiting homes and businesses in search of cameras that might have captured the vehicle more clearly. And finally, a break. One camera had exactly what they needed: a clear, high-quality image of the red pickup truck. While analyzing the recording, detectives saw a red pickup truck driving along the road about 5 minutes after witnesses called 911 and reported an accident involving Bianca's car. Yet it was not possible to see the license plate. Moreover, it was unclear whether it was the same car or another one that fit the description. As investigators scoured neighborhoods, combing through hours of surveillance footage and knocking on door after door, a major breakthrough finally came, this time from a citizen. 2 days after Bianca's death, a woman came forward with a crucial tip. She had seen the red pickup truck the police were desperately searching for, and more importantly, she had seen the driver's face. According to her account, the red pickup had sped past her on the road before stopping at the intersection of Polly Pike. She clearly remembered the truck turning left, and just as clearly, the man behind the wheel. It wasn't just a lead, it was a turning point. Her detailed observation gave investigators a tighter radius to search and a glimmer of hope that the faceless blur from the surveillance tapes might finally have a name. Moreover, it meant that the pickup truck from this footage wasn't the car they were looking for. It was just a similarly looking truck. The woman who had come forward didn't just give a statement, she gave investigators a face. Working closely with a forensic artist, she described the driver as a white male, approximately 25 to 35 years old, with brown hair and a stubble beard. A composite sketch was drawn up and quickly circulated by law enforcement, with the hope that someone somewhere might recognize him. They showed the sketch to Bianca's family. Sadly, no one knew anyone resembling the man in the image. That added a chilling new theory to the case. What if this wasn't just a road rage incident, but a hate crime? Now armed with the knowledge that the truck had turned left at the intersection, detectives canvassed homes and businesses along that path, searching for one thing: a clearer image. They didn't have to wait long. Less than half a mile from the intersection, a homeowner shared footage from a security camera pointed at his driveway. It was time-stamped and sharp, just what the police needed. Comparing timestamps and distance from the crash site, investigators honed in on a vehicle that matched everything they were looking for. At last, the faceless suspect had a trail, and the chase was on. Although the footage had better quality than the previous one, its angle of view prevented the law enforcement officers from identifying the car or the driver. The police worked tirelessly to locate another surveillance camera positioned closer to the scene, and this time luck was on their side. Although the license plate still wasn't visible, the footage revealed several distinctive features of the vehicle that investigators could finally work with. The car had a sticker on the right side window, a vertical dent on the passenger door, and damage to the hood. These distinctive features could greatly simplify the search for this car. Eager to accelerate the investigation, the police turned to the public, launching an urgent appeal through the media. They announced a $5,000 reward for any information that could lead them to the red pickup truck or its driver. Investigators were confident someone out there had seen this vehicle and would come forward. And just 3 days after Bianca Roberson's tragic death, a phone call came into the station. On the line was an attorney saying he represented a client who wanted to turn himself in, a man who admitted to being involved in the incident that took the life of 18-year-old Bianca Roberson. This incident happened this past Wednesday at approximately 5:30 p.m. Bianca Roberson, 18 years old, recently graduated from Westchester Ruston High School. On her way to Jacksonville University, her whole summer in front of her whole life in front of her, a loving family, she was driving down Route 100. Route 100 is a two-lane highway. The Route 100 spur, just a couple miles from here, merges into Route 202, and where it merges, it goes from 2 lanes down to 1. That's the same merge that people in southeastern Pennsylvania make thousands of times every day all across the region. People do that without problem, but last Wednesday, as Bianca was merging down from 2 lanes to 1, there was a man in a red pickup truck also merging down, and they jockeyed for position. And he wasn't happy, so he pulled out a gun and shot Bianca in the head. The man behind the wheel of the red pickup truck was 28-year-old David Desper of Pennsylvania. Days after the shooting, he walked into a police station with his lawyer by his side and turned himself in. He wouldn't testify, but he gave investigators permission to search his home and revealed where the truck was hidden. When police found the vehicle, there was no doubt it was the one they were looking for. The same decals, the same damage, the same rims. Inside Desper's home, they recovered the handgun that had ended Bianca Roberson's life. The physical evidence was overwhelming, but what they didn't find was a motive. On July 7th, more than 800 people filled the pews at St. Paul's Baptist Church in Westchester, Pennsylvania. Family, friends, classmates, school officials, even the admissions officer from Jacksonville University, Bianca's next step, came to honor her memory. A banner at the altar read, "Patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, self-control." What emerged was the picture of a brilliant, loving, radiant young woman, a rising star taken too soon. In his eulogy, Pastor Wayncroft Sr. did not mince words. He compared Bianca's killing to the deaths of Trayvon Martin and Jordan Davis, both young, unarmed black teens whose lives were stolen by gunmen who claimed to be afraid. Whether Bianca's death was road rage or something darker, the pain in the black community was the same. All we know is that we lost another brilliant young black star, Pastor Croft said. Another good sister is gone. At Desper's trial in September 2018, the Roberson family hoped for answers. But when asked why, Desper said nothing, only that he was sorry. Instead of answers, Bianca's parents had to sit across from the man who shot their daughter in the head and live with the silence. Rodney Roberson printed T-shirts with Bianca's face for family and friends. He wore a bracelet engraved with Bianca Roberson, a rose in God's garden. Outside the courtroom, a banner demanded justice for Bianca Nicole Roberson. "I don't know how I'm going to react when I see him," Rodney said. "The man who killed my daughter. But I know I won't do anything stupid." "He stole her dreams," Michelle sobbed. "I just want to hold her, but I can't. I'm her mother, and I can't do that anymore. And he's still here. He still gets to hug his parents. She was just 18, a baby." Prosecutors said the incident began when Bianca didn't yield as two lanes merged into one. Desper rolled down his window and pulled the trigger. Then he fled, abandoning the truck with a friend and planning to escape to Delaware. When his face and vehicle hit the news, he hired a lawyer and surrendered. Police searched Desper's online history and talked to his friends. They found no evidence of a racially motivated attack. Without proof, they couldn't charge it as a hate crime, but not everyone agreed. Before sentencing, Desper's defense painted him as a big kid who liked cars and had no criminal intent. They said he panicked. Prosecutors pushed back. "If you're 28 years old behind the wheel of a truck with a loaded gun, you're not a big kid, you're a danger." Shockingly, it was Desper's own mother who unknowingly shared a Facebook post helping police track down Bianca's killer, never realizing the man they were hunting was her son. "I'm so sorry for what he did," she said, sobbing. At sentencing, Bianca's father faced his daughter's killer. "Why did you shoot my baby? Was it because she was young, because she was black, because she was a girl, because you were having a bad day?" Rodney asked. "All I have left of Bianca are memories." David Desper pleaded guilty to third-degree murder. He was sentenced to 20 to 40 years in prison. As she handed down the maximum sentence, Judge Anne-Marie Wheatcraft fought back tears. "I don't believe you were afraid," she told him. "I believe you were angry." Desper tried to appeal. His appeal was denied. And that brings us to the end of today's story. If you found value in this episode, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Stay safe out there. We'll see you next time.